Let's see. All right. Let's see if we matter enough to sit here tonight. I remember when it all started. You walk into it was seventh grade, I believe, and is everyone's phones put away?
Oh, that's what I forgot. I knew I was forgetting
Phone
something.
thing.
We just ask everybody to just double check your phones, make sure they're on. Thank
I
you.
went into junior high and I remembered I figured it out for the first time. That's where it all started. You know, you go, it never happened before this period. I never really seen it in play, but you walk into junior high and you figure something out real quick. And the first thing that you figure out when you walk into junior high, maybe this isn't the same experience for you guys, but for me, the first thing I figured out was I didn't matter. That this place was bigger than me and that there was people that didn't know me and basically I just don't matter here. Well, then you don't know it as a kid, but you know what you want, and so you want to, you don't say, well, I want to matter, but you want to fit there. And you want to figure out a way to get those people to know who you are. And so some people do sports, or some people um, study hard, or some people are funny, or some people are outlandish and a class clown, or whatever somebody goes about the business of doing, But for me, I couldn't really figure out a way to matter, because I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the most athletic, I wasn't the smartest. And so I kind of floundered around for a little while. And by the way, I had this best friend that was mattered real quick. He was the best football player in around. And he was my best friend from elementary. In elementary, you don't really understand that you don't matter. You're just out there, you're just playing, you're just being. It's not about mattering in elementary because you just fit and you just do this, whatever games you play, and everybody, you're friends and you grew up and you're all friends, and then you get to junior high and then this happens. And so for me, I floundered for a little while and I didn't really know how is this going to work, and then I went to a party and there was drinks there, and I got really drunk. And what they did was somebody older person was there and they put me in the trunk of a car. And it was funny because I was drunk and I was running around in the trunk of this car, and Art got so drunk he got in the trunk of a car. And then I came back to school the next day, and all of a sudden I mattered. I mattered. I was like, oh shit, man, I'm important now. And that's where drinking and drugging, like, oh man, this is how I can matter. I'm the drug guy. I'm the party guy. I'm the wild guy. And so there I got, get into that. So, you know, I remember, and this became how I mattered. It became how I fit in. It became, what I did to like impress people. Um, so then you go along and this starts getting worse because soon, drugs are pretty powerful things, and it's no longer about mattering anymore. It's about needing those drugs and needing booze and needing that kind of thing. And now all of a sudden, now it's not about mattering anymore. You're just alone and you're not hanging out with the people to fit in anymore. You're not going to the parties anymore. And you don't go to the bar, and no one's cheering on your success of being the best drinker in the world. And now you just kind of lost. And that's how I dropped out of college. And, that's how you get where you get. And all of a sudden, I remember I got a job next, and I was working at the McDonald's bun factory in Sumner. We made all the buns for McDonald's and 5 states. And so, man, I want to matter here too, So all of a sudden, well, prior to that, there was college, and I thought that the way to matter in college was women. If I could sleep with many women, then I'd really matter, that'd be important. We had a wall, and we'd write all their phone numbers up on the wall of the dorm with chalk. And so how every time me and my roommates would have a competition, see how many numbers we could get up there over a weekend. Well, that was how we married then. And then I got to that McDonald's plant, dropped out of school, and I was dating this girl, and her dad gave me a job working at the McDonald's bun plant. Up above the bun plant, right up on the top, there was glass. There was this glass conference room. And all the important people sat up in the glass conference room. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I want to be up in that glass conference room, really mattering. I need to be up there, like people need to know I'm important and I need to have answers and I need to go up there and help them solve problems. And I envied that big glass room, I just needed to be up there. I want to be in the know. I want to be part of it, but I never could get in that room. So eventually, get fired from that job from drugs and, and then move on and kind of, I disappeared. I no longer mattered to anyone. I wasn't there on the holidays. It didn't matter if I came or not. I remember my last birthday, nobody called. Nobody called. You're on your birthday and the phone's not ringing and your mom's first time, you're like, oh, mom and dad are really pissed this time, not even a call on my birthday, And so you really get to this point with addiction and drugs where you really understand what it's like to not matter. And if you haven't reached it yet, well, it's coming. But you can get to a point where you really, really, really don't matter anymore. And so, when you get sober, when I got sober, then it all came back flooding again. I started helping people. Here we go. I'm gonna help people. I'm like, I remember my first addict that I helped. I was probably like 30 days clean, but I lied and said I was 60 days. So for a long time, my clean date was 30 days off because this is truly what happened. Because I knew I was done with drugs and alcohol. I wasn't lying to like impress people. I was lying because it seemed to look so stupid that I was helping people when I only had 30 days and I thought it sounded better to help people when I had 60. So I thought maybe they would, oh, if I have 60 days, then I'm picking this kid up and his parents, I could say to his parents, I got 60 days, I'll take him, but I didn't want to look stupid and say I only had like 30 or whatever. So I changed my clean date, and for years took a year and I didn't. My mom, she knew the real date, but I told everybody the other date. So all of a sudden, people that know me out a year sober, my mom's having it on a different day, and everyone's looking at me like, "What's going on?" And so, stupidly enough, like years later, I had to acknowledge that I lied about my clean dates. It wasn't January 11th; it was actually February 16th. So I had to change that. But I started helping people, and I was dangerous. You see, it's dangerous. It's dangerous for some reason because see, we have to get a starting point here with all the people helping people in the world, with all these opportunities to help. Um, I think we need to start being honest about what's really going on. Um, human beings want to matter. As we sit in this room tonight, I hope that you all want to matter. I hope you want to matter to your job. I hope you want to matter to your wife. I hope you want to matter. But see, human beings are a weird species. They don't admit that they want to matter. They don't admit that that's the cause of their actions. They lie about that. What it's called is a clever strategy. So human beings are what is known as a clever strategy. See, it's a lack of acknowledgement. We don't start with the acknowledgement as a human that I want to matter to everyone around me. In fact, we even go a little bit further on and say, I don't care if I matter. A lot of people say that. I don't care what people think about me. Well, why did you say that? Because you think it sounds cool that you don't care about people thinking about you. But you said it because you want to matter. And that was your way of mattering. So you're not able to spot that you're even trying to matter when you say you don't try to matter. So we have to get to a starting point as a human being. And I hope you all understand, you could say it as a human being, that we could say, everything I do, the shoes I wear, the haircut I get, the money I make, the dinner I cook, the dishes I do, the work I do, the talk that I talk to you tonight, everything I do is because I want to matter. That's the reasons for my actions, because I want to matter. I can't look at these kids and say, I help you for you. No, I help you because it helps me matter. It helps me feel important to matter to you. The more I matter to you, the better I feel. So I help people to matter. I help people to feel good. I saw my dog today. I was with Andrew. We were talking about dogs this morning, and Andrea said, dogs aren't as loyal as people think. She's right, but a dog will really convince you. See, that's why people get dogs when they don't feel they matter. That's why when COVID hit, if you remember, there was an explosion of people getting dogs because they didn't have a way to matter. And that dog every goddamn day will make you think you matter. He will. because you matter to him. But don't be tricked, because he'll do the same thing to everyone. You see what I'm saying? Mocha's up at our house now recovering, and boy, she makes you feel like you matter. She gets right in your face and she paws you and she looks up and she begs. But then you're sitting there going, wow, this dog really loves me. This is awesome. I matter. And then she does it to the next person and the next person and the next person. And so maybe they're not as loyal as you think. Maybe you just matter to them because you're the source of their food and love and attention right now. But still, we get dogs because we want to know that we matter. We want to have something to matter for. See, a clever strategy is to say that I help people because I'm selfless. A clever strategy to say I help people because, oh, I help people for them, man. It just makes me feel good to, no, come on. See, we are very an opportunistic people right now. And drug addiction is a huge opportunity for a lot of people to matter. It would be like if it would be like this. If knee surgeons kind of lost their way and everybody started having knee problems. And all of a sudden someone said, I'll fix the knee. I know how to do it. And they've never went to school. They've never helped anyone. They've never done surgery on a knee. So we have people that have never helped human beings, people that have never even done it, that now see this big opportunity to matter. Well, have you ever done it? Do you know what it's like? Do you even know why you do it? Do you understand yourself well enough? I wish somebody would have stopped me along the way when I was helping people. And I say I was dangerous because I was a clever strategy. You know, there's this thin line between the helped and the helper. Who's who? Do I sit up here tonight as the helper? I'm the helper. Look at all you, the help. Like the help. Is that right? It's a weird transaction, you see? It's this transactional thing where I get this opportunity to matter, but I'm disguising it as you need me. But then there's this weird thing going on where kind of when you're getting help, you look at somebody and you go, are they trying to matter or do they care about me? And then there's this weird thing with addiction where everyone's looking up at the counselor going, what are you trying to do, man? It's pretty suspicious. And everyone is always suspicious to me. Number one question they always ask about me is, do you care about me, Art? And I would answer that with this. I care about mattering. I'm sorry. Now, only when I acknowledged that I care about mattering was I able to get the ability to care about another human being. But I had to first get my own bullshit out of the way. My own nonsense about stepping up and say I help people for other people and I'm some selfless fucking saint, because I ain't. Because I help people because it makes me feel like I matter. And that's the truth. Now, what if our society said that? What if somebody said, I get into politics because it makes me feel like I matter? And they could stop acting like they're the goddamn help and we're all the fucking, they're the helper and we're all the help, like a weird fucking transaction. And they could actually say, no, this shit is, let's get down with the motivation first. And all you drug addicts, they say addiction, love is the opposite, connection is the opposite, addiction was caused by trauma. No, it's caused by not mattering. And it's solved by mattering. So if any of you are going to make it, guess what you're going to do first? You're going to matter. You're going to know that you need to matter. You're going to try to matter. You're going to say, I want to matter. And you're going to try to make a difference in the lives of humans around you. And you're going to try to matter. And if you don't try to matter, you don't matter. And then people will come in and say, they need to know they matter. Fuck you all. You don't need to know shit that you matter when you don't matter. Nobody cares. You need to know you matter. And the only way you need to know matters, you need to put yourself out there and you need to do shit all under the guise of what it truly is. I'm trying to matter. I'm going to make coffee tonight because I want to matter. I'm going to bring cookies tonight because I want to matter. I'm going to actually sit with people and talk because I want to matter. I want to raise my kid because I want to matter as a mother. I want to matter. I want to make a difference. I want to improve something. So that's what we see. People that don't make it, it's because they actually shy away. Are you too scared to admit it? Are you too scared to admit that you want to matter in this world? See, the thing about keeping people on the streets, the reason a lot of people stay on the streets, it isn't because of all the bullshit they say. You know why they stay out there? because they fucking matter to someone out there. That'll be the excuse you hear every time. I can't leave so-and-so. I can't leave so-and-so. I can't leave my dog. I can't leave these people in this camp. I matter. And they finally get to matter. And then they don't want to give that up because what am I going to do? Go into a world where I don't matter again? You see, that's what's happening. And that's what's happening with the helpers. That's what's happening with the helped. A bunch of people trying to matter, but zero understanding that that's our motivation. Zero. Everybody disguising it that it's something else. Everybody having a clever strategy to like say, no, I don't. What about this one? Oh, I didn't do anything. I don't do anything. Well, why'd you do it? Well, I don't want any acknowledgement. Well, why'd you do it? Well, just don't acknowledge. Oh, okay. Okay. Come on. You did it because you want to matter. Own it. You did it because this is what this is. We are human beings in a room and we want each other to matter to each other. That's what we want. Come on. Everyone shies away from it. I don't care if I matter. I don't care what people think about me. I don't care. I'm Mr. Cool. Really? Why'd you get your hair cut? Really? Why'd you buy shoes? Why'd you put on clothes? Why do you do everything? See, let's get honest about what we do when we look in the mirror. You do your hair tonight. You put on your makeup because you want to matter to someone. Everything we do is in this realm. I had to get square on why I do what I do. I want to be important for people. I want to be counted on. I want people to look and go, hey man, in my life, you matter. I want that experience in life. And I don't think, and I think that there's a lot of you guys in the room that forget, people that have suffered and not mattered for a long time. And what happens to people when they don't know that they want to matter? Well, they do all kinds of clever, crazy fucking shit to try to matter. You know, they buy like handbags, weirdo fucking handbags for $900. You know, they buy cars for thousands or for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't care. Anyone bought a BMW today, they want to matter. And that's their way of doing it. They buy big houses, they buy yachts, they do whatever they do. And if you ask them if it's because you want to matter, they'll say no. We are the only people that don't acknowledge what our motivation is. We're the only kind of species that does this. You know the motivation of a dog. You know the motivation of other animals. You can see it, and they don't deny their motivation. I want to be petted. I want food. I want to play with the ball. We as humans, we deny our motivation. We tell people it's not what you think it is. You ever see a real estate agent? Why do they sell real estate? Not because they want to matter. It's because, do you know what it's like to experience somebody when they get the keys to their first home for the first time? Yada, 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 bullshit. You know why I play football? It's from my family. Didn't you play before you had a family? Yeah. You play football because you want to matter. And this is your way of doing it. You cook a meal because you want to matter, and that's your way of doing it. You garden because you want people to see your garden and you want to matter. You do your yard and landscape it because you want to matter. Everything we do is for that. Let's get straight. And if you sit here and tell me that you don't want to matter, I don't believe you. I think you're scared. I think you're not willing to put yourself out there anymore. And I think you went and got a dog. So we see this is the confusion in our society. Drug out every problem is not a problem that can be fixed anymore. We can't fix problems as a society anymore because of this one thing, because everybody wants the problem so that they can matter. That's why the problems can't get fixed. You'll never fix a problem until people acknowledge why they even want it fixed. So we have a homeless issue in Seattle. It's a huge opportunity for people to matter. They can't let that shit go away. They can't solve it. Then how would they matter? They can't have addiction and fentanyl and all these problems solved. How would they matter? See, if you ever hear anybody complaining, the reason why somebody is complaining is what? They're trying to matter. So every complaint is just a human being that doesn't feel that they matter, trying to matter. But that's not how you matter. Every genius in the world can point out the problems in our society. But to understand why you even want to fix them, to understand your motivation for even getting involved. See, if I matter enough, why would I move? If I matter enough today, why wouldn't I just sit here? But see, something inside would tell me to get up because it thinks I don't matter enough. So it'll say, you don't matter enough to sit here still. You got to go fucking matter, dude. Don't meditate. Don't sit here and do nothing. Go tell someone how cool you are in some way. So we have this restlessness, this irritable and the discontent. Where did that come from? That came from that. That came from you sitting there restless going, I don't matter. I don't matter. I don't matter. I don't matter. And then we take the booze and the alcohol and we don't worry about not mattering for a minute. It's a relief. Oh, it doesn't, I don't care that I don't matter. I'll sit here all day. I feel great. And then as soon as the booze and drugs wear off, I need to matter. I got to matter. I got to get out of here. You know, our biggest problem here, everybody comes here from a trap house, a dumpster, the streets, and the drugs wear off and you get sober. You know what the first thing they say is? This place is holding me back. I got to go matter. I can't sit here and do these groups. I'm important. I got shit to do. What's that? Well, see, what you're supposed to be doing here is you're supposed to be creating a balance between understanding that you want to matter and understanding that you need to live in here. And understanding that this drive to matter is causing a sickness. And especially when it's not acknowledged. But when we can acknowledge it, we can say, hey, I'm doing this. I'm doing the coffee at the meeting because I want to matter. I want people to look at me. I'm folding this chair right now because I want to matter and I want people to look at me. I'm doing X, Y, and Z because I want to matter and I want people to look at me. We can be honest with ourselves. That's humility. Humility, that is to say that I want to matter. And when you tell me and if I deny that motivation and say, that's not why I'm doing it, that I lack humility. You see, humility for me says to you all, I care very, 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 very deeply of your opinion of me. I do. And tonight, when I planned to talk to you, I was very hopeful that you would enjoy what I had to say. Because I live for you all. I live to matter to you. And if I don't matter to you, then I don't really need to live. Because there's nothing to live for. People going to play poker. I go play poker. I'm at the poker table. Guess what I'm doing at the poker table? Trying to fucking matter, boy. It ain't about money. It's like, oh, you think you matter? No, I matter. I win this pot. And then you win the pot. And you're like, oh, I matter. Oh. And then you lose the pot and you go, I don't matter. And isn't this all of our day? Isn't this it? See, what if as human beings we could start right there? And we go, hey, wait, we're all good people. We just all want to matter. Now, some of us are a little effective over here and some of us are over effective over here. Now let's find where we're effective and find where we matter, where most, do our part, and kind of understand what's going on here. Let's understand that the guy that just bought the Ferrari, there was Mark Zuckerberg made a comment, or who was it? No, it was the guy that played Mark Zuckerberg in the Facebook movie. It was Jesse Eisenberg, and they were interviewing him. And he said, there's a billionaire, Mark Zuckerberg, and they go, why do you think he does what he does? And the actor said, well, you know, I'm a little confused because if I had that much money, I would just spend all day helping people. And I thought, well, that's not Zuckerberg's way of mattering. He can't quit making money because it isn't about money. It's about him mattering more. And he obviously doesn't feel like he matters enough. So now he needs to prove that he matters more when he already matters as much as he matters. So he can't get rid of that sickness because he doesn't even acknowledge that that's why he made Facebook, was to matter. So he's a fraud. When they say get authentic about our inauthenticities, when they say to be authentic, what do you think they mean? They mean to be authentic about my motivation. They all do this true self shit. I'm living my true authentic self. You just said bullshit on Facebook about how you're living your true authentic self. Why did you say that? Oh, because I'm living my true authentic self? No, because you want people to think you're living your true authentic self. And you want people to think that because you want to matter, but you don't even know that about yourself. So until we get down with what the motivation is that we're all even here and what we're doing, until you guys in recovery understand it ain't connection. Hey, look, what is it? It's mattering. Guess how long you can stay sober and not matter? Very little time. Very little time. Try to stay sober and don't matter. Good luck. You will seek something so you feel different. You will do something if you don't matter. So, and you better get busy understanding, man. See, no one warned me about all this. I didn't know this. I didn't have a teacher. I wish somebody would have stopped me and helped me learn earlier. I don't know if it would have mattered if they could have stopped me. But see, I helped people for like 5 years without knowing. I couldn't understand why people were mad at me for helping them. I couldn't get that. I couldn't understand why people looked suspicious at me when I was helping them. Well, I get it now because I was trying to matter and it was on their backs. And they felt that. And they went, is this for me or you, dude? You need a job. I gotta get you a job. Oh, fuck. Why is this guy so fucking stressed out? Because you getting a job makes me matter to your family. And I need you to get a job so I look good. You need to make your bed, dude. Make your bed. Whoa. Because I need to call your parents later and say that I told you to make your bed and you did it. It's like a baby bird, dude. I need you to change so I matter. Pop their head off. Come on, man. Make me matter. Head pop off. And people know. And they'll resent you. They'll understand. So really understanding what else did we want, man? Oh, okay. I just want money so that I can go fishing. Well, what happens? What happens with that? Well, that's another distraction. Well, is that a good life? Moving away from people because you don't want to take the risk at mattering with folks because you can't be counted on. This is a life. This is what we're doing. We're trying to matter with each other. And I hope people understand that. And I hope people that are helping people get it square. I help you all. I do this. I didn't do this talk for you tonight. I do this talk so that I hope I matter to you. I hope you look and go, man, that's an important person in my life. I like what he has to say. It matters what he has to say. And I think until we get our motivation square, we are going to be a fucked up society. Because every problem is some huge opportunity for people, and we're not fixing the problems anymore. We have an opportunity for one side to complain, an opportunity for one side to be a hero. We have people wanting to be heroes, and we have the complainers. And let's get square. Nobody really likes your ideas. I honestly believe this. I would say if there's 1 million people that are working on the homeless problem in our country, I would say nobody wants it solved if it's not their idea. I would say if it was solved tomorrow, everyone would be disappointed. That's how nasty this is when we don't understand our motivation. If tomorrow we woke up and there was no homeless and no more fentanyl, I think there would be a lot of disappointed people.
Mm.
There would be a lot of people that go, oh, who solved it? They matter more than me. But everyone wants to be a hero, and it's this big opportunity to do so, you know. But helping people is hard, and it's transactional, and it's not easy, and people are humans, and where there's a thin line in the distinction between the person getting helped and the helper, and it might switch from time to time. You better watch out. I might end up on the other end of this thing. Very fine line between me being right here helping people and then me needing help. It's like one event. It's like one slip up, it's like one something. You know, kind of there by the grace of God go I thing. And all of a sudden now I'm not the helper and I'm the helped, and boy. That would be a chance for people to matter. At least I know what it is. And so really, I would like to square up with all the helpers, everyone trying to help and go, why do you do it? If they don't say it's because they want to matter, I'm going to say that's a very dangerous person. Sheep in wolf's clothing. Or a wolf in sheep's clothing, excuse me. Anyways. Can we as a family, can you gather as a family and say, you know what we want to do? We want to matter to each other. It's like that. We want to sit around and talk and we want to like actually. But instead, somebody's gonna run off to college and get it. I saw a friend of mine posted, not a friend, but just an acquaintance. It's how bad people want to matter. This post said, I'm going to be getting my master's. That post took off. It went crazy. Yay, you're going to get your master's. Yay. Imagine a world where you say, I might get my master's down the road, and then you get all the glory for getting your master's on that day. And we still don't know if that person ever got their master's, but they got all the validation that day. They got all the mattering and they juiced it for whatever they could do. It's like me posting on Facebook and saying, I plan to lose 50 pounds in the next year. Everyone's like, good job, Art. And I'm like, I know. I'm fucking killing it. And that's what would happen. That's what happens when our society is so screwed up. People actually would fall for that. They would actually fall for it. I would actually get accolades. No one would go, you're a fucking idiot. No one would comment that.
I would.
Yeah. True. That's what people should say. What do you mean you're going to get your master's? You're really discrediting everybody that's ever done it, dumb shit. Disregarding the work, But we have quick ways to matter without clever little strategies. This is how I matter without mattering. But when we admit it, you're a huge opportunity for me. Maybe I'm not the solution. Maybe I'm the problem and you're the solution. And if I can admit that to myself, maybe there'll be some humility. Anonymous donor. How come we always find out he was an anonymous donor? I've never understood anonymous donor. Why would you want to do that? Oh, I just don't want anyone to know, but my wife and a few close family members. And then they speak at the funeral. He was an anonymous donor. How much? Millions, anonymously. It's insane. All because the guy don't want to admit that hey, this is how I matter. I'd rather a guy came to me and goes, hey, I've got $1 million here and I want to matter to your organization. I want you to acknowledge it. All right, fine. Let's do that. Oh, no. No credit to me. No. Stop. Anyways. I see Mr. Winston couldn't handle the conversation. That's who it was for, by the way. Well, phone died. I think the biggest thing that I see is drug addicts that don't admit they want to matter, trying to matter.
Oh, yes, we listen to every word.
Oh, Jane. That was Jane.
Yeah. Hi, Dave.
Let's open it up. Maybe Jane's got a question.
Anybody at home out there that has a question, you can use your raise your hand feature and I'll see ya. Anybody in here? Let's open it up.
Yes.
So I'm just kind of trying to wrap my mind around all of it.
Mhm.
You matter.
Yeah.
You're brilliant. You really are. Like, we've been to other treatment facilities.
You guys, listen up. She's talking. I mean, what the hell? Say that again. Say that again. I don't.
You're brilliant.
Okay. Okay. Guys. Okay. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
listened to a lot of podcasts. I've heard a lot of different ideas, but nobody talks like you talk, and it really like, I don't understand it. Josh and I were just talking about this too. It's different, but it's true and it's real. And I feel like a lot of other, counselors facilities are missing.
This key portion, yeah, 'cause everybody's talking out of textbooks, right?
Yes.
You know, they're not being real and raw and open and honest.
Yeah.
You know, they're missing that whole aspect.
I used to think Eckhart Tolle was a writer that one of my first writers that I really got into when, and I thought that he had some prophet-like ability. I used to read his books and I go, this dude is a prophet. Like, how does he know this shit? But then as you go along and you begin to really see what this is, and this is what we're trying to learn in the program recently, is that we have a manager on duty. All of you in this room have this little manager on duty, and the manager's job is to make sure that you look good, make sure that you don't say anything stupid, kind of keep it between the ditches. And that's the job of our manager. So whenever you talk, guys, that's going through the manager. You're not just at the bone of truth. You're speaking, and you're in consideration of what everybody will think about you while you're speaking. You're thinking about what it's going to look like when you talk. You're speaking about all this stuff. And this thing is really discreetly and secretly motivating, and you don't understand its motivation until you watch it. And so when I say it, I had to watch my own manager and see what I was up to. And I found a lot of the times, if I wasn't watching myself and I wasn't watching this thing that was talking, it got off the chain. And what it started doing when I wasn't watching was it tried to make me look good. And it tried to prove that I matter in all kinds of weird ways. It would tell guys how many girls I've slept with. It would say how much money I have. It would exaggerate and say things like, I have 10 houses when I have 8. It would tell big fish stories. If I made $18 an hour, it would say 19. It really, really did some things. And I had to study this thing that had taken over me in order to matter, but didn't ever tell me that that's why it took me over. You see, as children, we don't have this manager. We're free. Some people call it a self, some people call it whatever you call it. But this thing, ego, whatever it is, but it took me over in 7th grade. And it started saying, Art, this is what you need to do to look good. This is what you need. And I didn't know it was working. It was working unbeknownst to me. It was doing its job to make me fit in and to make me look good without me watching it. And that led me down all kinds of inauthentic paths. That led me down all kinds of crazy shit my whole life, until you wake up and you start watching that it's not just you talking, that you need to watch you talking. And you wake up to that. And when you wake up to that, you get insight into how fake you are as a human being. So when I say get authentic about my inauthenticities, what that means is I'm going to get real about how fake I am. And why is a person fake? A person is fake because they're not admitting that what they're doing is trying to look good, trying to fit in, trying to matter. They don't admit that. And what humility is an acknowledgement that somebody else sees your manager, you see your manager, and you can kind of smile and go, you got me. I wasn't watching it for a second, and it started telling everybody how cool I am. I wasn't watching it for a second, and it started trying to look good. And that's what it'll always do. It's kind of a default. And so as you study your thing, you gain insight into everybody else's thing. See, you can see what they're up to before they know what they're up to. That's a real crazy proposition that we can look at people and we can go, I know what you're up to. And they go, no, no. And everybody in the room's like, yes, yes. And it's that humility to acknowledge I'm changing in my life. And the reason I'm changing is because I'm now acknowledging that is what's going on. I do tell stories about how bad I got it to look good. I do tell victimization stories to look good. See, there's a board Andrew also reminded me of today. It's called the TAM board, the addict's mom. Now, this is a dangerous place to be. You see, there is not a website called the tow truck driver's mother. There's not the plumber's mom. There's not the accountant's mother. There is a board full of people who have adopted an identity based upon somebody else's problem. I'm the addict's mom. So now, what else can they be but other than an addict's mom? So now, if you tell them that they're on there for the general purposes of making the problem their identity and to exaggerate how bad their kid has it, to exaggerate how bad they have it, to say, woe is me, and to not solve the problem, they will call you an absolute liar. In fact, we were kicked off the website for having solutions. They will not let us post because we brought solutions and they didn't want to hear any bullshit about that. They wanted to hear, and this is how we've get into a victim society too, because people now have found very little ways to matter. And they've now said the way that I matter is I'm a bigger victim than, so that's how their little things operate. And it's a very dangerous thing to think that our kids are going to do this too. That our kids are going to adopt a way to matter that says we are the ones that are marginalized. We are the ones that are victimized. And that's what's happening. So it's not genius or it's not whatever. It's just thorough examination of what it is that I'm up to. And then as soon as I figure out what I'm up to, it's probably tricking me and I'm doing it again. You see what I'm saying? As soon as I think for a second that I'm not trying to look good, there I go looking good. There you're doing it. You see?
So the actual question though was.
Yeah.
So when you're saying an addict is using because they feel that they don't matter and they're sitting in that, I need to matter, I need to matter, I need to matter. How, like, I don't know, how can the family help with that? Like, my kids think he hung the moon. I mean, we think he matters so much, but I think that you would definitely say that that has been a piece of it, feeling that you don't matter, you know?
Well, it might not be that. See, men, everyone, it might not be generally that I don't feel like I matter to my family, but maybe that's not enough. Maybe he doesn't matter at his job. Maybe he doesn't matter in his career. Maybe that's not at all. Maybe he's gotten to a point where drugs and alcohol are just, I think it's that initial not mattering that has us turn to drugs and alcohol, right? So then I don't know how long it goes before we're no longer really concerned about that. It's just that these feel really good now, you know, so it's not always the case, you know. It's not like a drug addict's actually acknowledging, well, I'm taking these drugs because I don't matter. And it's not like you can like combat this and then make some drug addict feel that they matter. That's the rub, right? Everyone thinks it's on someone else. Then if I say, well, addiction is caused by few people that feel that they don't matter, and then somebody's going to come along and see an opportunity and go, well, we got to make them think they matter. No, that's not the solution. They have to get it figured out how to matter. They have to get it figured out how to connect with people. They have to figure out how to do this. No one can do it for you. So if you feel like you're not connected and you're not loved, well, then you got to get the ability to love and connect. There's no one that can help you do that.
Brandon used to tell me that it was when he actually got high, and I called it twacking.
Mhm.
I know it's a weird word, but people would call them tweakers. And I always said my son was was whacking out, you're whacked out, but you're tweaking. So I put them together and called him a twacker.
Okay,
And then I would say, you're always twacking. But he would say, it was not until I would get high or twacking, as you would call it, that I got your attention. Or like you're saying, he felt he finally mattered to me because it got my attention. When you're twacking, you're damn right you got my attention because, you know, you were twacking out. For all of those reasons, Brandon said to me, when he was high, he felt that's when he meant the most in his own group.
yeah.
It's what made.
Well, people
sense to
start
him.
calling, people start worrying about
And, right.
you. You start
And I
controlling the way
started-
people think.
yeah, And
Yeah,
I started making him my front center
yeah,
kind of thing. And I also want to say, Art, you know, the groups that I used to belong to or, you know, take part in, where you were saying that you're that, almost like that victim mentality, or that you're there because your world is so crushed or whatever. I've had people who are still kind of in some of those groups and say, hey, we haven't seen you in a long time or whatever. And I said, well, yeah, because I'm actually been somewhere or in a group or part of people that make me feel like I'm actually moving up, not just staying stagnant where I was at.
yeah, it's
And
a,
helping us through what we're all here for.
it's a scary proposition as even a parent, you know, to, the Al-Anon saying is their motto is that you didn't cause it, you can't cure it, you can't control it. And I always thought, wow, that is arrogant. I
Well,
mean,
it's
to
that-
say as a parent that there was no responsibility there, I mean, that's a stretch. And to say then, well, my other kid's in college and doing great. Okay, so, you know, and who cares if you didn't cause it, can't control it, who cares? You're gonna need to get better in order to fix this problem. And your motto kind of makes it, their motto made it sound like there is no need for them to get better. They need to just step back and say, it's up to the kid. And we just disagree. We
Which is
think
maybe
that,
why you got kicked off of a website where they don't want to lose their people. They like having their people be in that world, so they have their people, but I'm not there anymore. I'm with you guys for a reason.
well, here, the point of all this is not to. It's actually to go, well, can I, as a human being, one, admit to myself that this is my motivation? Can I get honest with myself and start there? And if I do get honest and start there, how does that kind of help me refer to other people? And how can I kind of like begin to spot the mystery? And I think that is the big mystery that we're all running. And that is the big game that we're all running, is that we're all sitting here trying to matter. And the mom is gonna do dishes, not to do the dishes. She's doing dishes at the house and making dinner because she wants to matter to her family, and all she wants to hear is that she matters. And she'll happily do dishes forever as long as I know that I matter. And as soon as I feel that I don't matter, she'll start complaining about doing those dishes. And the reason she's complaining about doing those dishes is because she wants to matter, not because she doesn't want to do the dishes. And so if we can get an understanding that that's at least what we're doing here as human beings, that I buy a new pair of white shoes and I'd like it to look good because some weird way, I think that matters more than ugly shoes. And that, you know, when I get a stain on my shirt, it almost feels like death. You know, and the reality is that we've got this manager that's kind of went offline. That's what really happened. So meaning we had a manager and there was a purpose of a manager. It was to protect us from predators, or it was to warn us from danger. And now danger in our society is a stain on your shirt. Danger is not looking good. A huge danger would be to accidentally fart. I mean, that's death, you know, I mean, you know, these are the dangerous things in our society, you know. It's not real, there's no real danger anymore, so this thing has just went crazy. And so now danger is not looking good. Danger is falling down on the stage and slipping on your way up to give a talk. Danger for me is to say something stupid here tonight and have people, you know, make fun of me. So, you know, but here we are. Why not do what we're doing, honestly. I like when more people come than less. Cause when more people come, it feels like I matter more.
It's a wicked hard puzzle to solve,
Yeah.
because there's uncontrollable pieces to the puzzle. And the timing isn't always right, you know, you may have the motivation to finish the puzzle, but some of the pieces are missing. So, you know, in our experience, we tried everything to help Tyler matter,
Mhm.
you know, we went dark on him and, okay. You know, we cut him off,
Mhm.
well, that didn't work, so we pay his rent. And that didn't work,
Right.
so we bought him a car,
Yeah.
you know, helped him, you know. Continue to feed his habit over and over and over again, and, you know, we did everything to try and help him matter. But what you said earlier, you know, we'd ask him, don't you wanna matter? Not in those words,
Yeah.
but you know, when in those discussions, don't you wanna matter? Don't you wanna be something? Don't you wanna have a wife, a kid? You know, you wanna have a job, you wanna have a career? We'll give you all of that, we'll help you.
Yeah.
Get all that. He's like, I don't want any of that, Dad. I
Yeah.
don't want that.
Mhm.
And so it's you know, the timing and the missing pieces to the puzzle.
Well,
It's
that's,
just so wickedly hard,
Well,
harder than a Rubik's Cube.
it is,
Yeah.
it isn't, but
Yeah.
that's part, the problem here is that we can't make other people. We have to at least learn this about ourselves, like Tyler has to know. So Tyler, the humility comes when he admits that he does want to matter. And when he admits that he does want to matter, but he's doing it in weird ways. So yeah, Tyler, like Tyler said, I don't care about all that. Well, okay, but you're trying to play poker. Why are you playing poker? You want acknowledgement, you want to matter, you want to win. So that's where the danger comes with families, is that they try, and that's the danger in dealing with addiction, is that people try too hard to convince this person that they matter. And we try too hard. And in fact, we'd be better as a society to actually leave them not mattering. Because what's happening now in our society is people are running down and telling people that are smoking fentanyl, going to the bathroom outside, and using drugs openly and damaging our community, and they're going down and saying crazy shit to them like they matter. When in actuality, they say, you don't matter. In fact, we'll just put you in jail. Because from a drug addict's perspective, if I'm doing drugs and camping and you come down, what you're telling me is my behavior is okay. What you're telling me is it's okay. And so everyone's running around trying to convince people that are high on drugs that they matter. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're on drugs in our society, you don't matter. From a person who's been on drugs, you just don't matter. And would we put anyone on a jury that was high on fentanyl? No, that's because they don't matter. Their opinion doesn't matter. And people need to understand that a person on drugs don't matter. That way, if I take drugs, I'm not getting the feeling that I matter anymore. I'm actually getting the opposite, you see? So for me, it wasn't like that. It was, oh, why did I quit drugs? Because my parents didn't call me on my birthday. Because I don't matter anymore, and this is no longer working to even emulate the feeling of mattering anymore. So now I either have oblivion, or I have to actually learn how to matter with my family again. It's on the drug addict. That's the thing. And we have reversed it all in the name of some weird thing. And you didn't buy Tyler things to convince him that mattered. You did it because you wanted to matter to Tyler, right? And that's fine, but we understand, you want to matter to your son, you want to make a difference. That's what you want to do. And so that's what people are doing. They want to matter and they want to make a difference. Well, that's what I say is okay, well, what if it was knee surgery and you just went, well, I don't care that I don't know how to fix the knee. I'm going to matter. And it's you do about 10 surgeries and screw it all up and go, oh, if I'm going to keep doing this shit, I should probably learn how to do knee surgery. You know what I mean? And we have all these people that are acting like they invented helping people. like it's the first time ever. Well, that's not just really what's going on. This is a big opportunity for you. I see that you're taking it, but whoa, whoa. You know, it's a little dangerous for you to just understand. These guys in this back of this room, we're talking years of work here. I can combine right now with just 10 people that I'm working with. I'm talking a combined 30 years of effort to help 10 people. And that's what we have back there. And this is not just me. This is Max. This is Brandon. This is a family. This is them. This is like 30 years to help 10 people. That's a lot. And they're humans. And it's not a bunch, it's not this quick fix thing. It's none of that. It's like, wow, this is tough, man. We're all in this room. We're going to be here for years trying to recover from this thing. It's a big deal. You know, and people think, well, I'll do it. I'll help someone. Well, that's pretty arrogant. Their family tried to help them. Their brother tried to help them. Everyone tried to help them. All you people that have been helping your kids and trying to get through them, and then your kid goes down to the streets of Seattle, and you know, and Andrea's here tonight, and you know that's why we hang with We Heart Seattle, because they take advice, they listen, they understand, and they're making an impact in a solid way, and they're actually a little bit discretionary about how they help. And we appreciate Andrea for that. We appreciate We Heart for that, because they're taking some discretion. They're saying, hey, how do we help in the right way? How do we make sure we don't do what everyone else is doing? And there's some humility there to be able to do that. So, you know, we got good organizations that are starting up, but everyone thinks they're reinventing the wheel. It's like, well, nothing works in treatment. No, the reason treatment doesn't work is not because of the treatment. The reason treatment doesn't work is because almost nothing works when it pertains to getting somebody off drugs and alcohol. It's massively hard. It's hard because that person's got to do it. And that person's got to be motivated to do it. And that person has had to have enough pain to do it. And then when they've had enough pain and they're motivated, they still have to do this really hard thing where they don't get drugs and alcohol for a long time, and it sucks. And then they have to actually put together the pieces of a life that they've screwed up, and they have to do that. No one can do it for them. And so it's really, really hard. And so a human being that's quit drugs and alcohol after being a drug addict has done some really, really hard shit. And there's not a great success rate. We're sorry about that. There's also not a great success rate to be a Navy SEAL. That's why it's hard. It's a good program. So we don't blame the treatment. We don't blame AA. We don't blame anything. We talk about this is Lakeside Milam isn't a bad place. Sundown M Ranch isn't a bad place. Royal Life isn't a bad place. They're doing their job. They're making it so you don't use drugs for 30 days. Now, it's going to be really hard after that. And you're going to have to do something that you're really proud of yourself for doing. And you're going to have to stand on your successes. You're going to have to look at every little block, Mr. Dustin or Max or Brandon. You look at every little, this is what I describe recovery like. It's like you've been bricked in by all these bricks. Everything you try to do is an obstacle, and the bricks are all around you. And what you do is you grab one brick and you put it down on the ground, and that's your first accomplishment. And then you grab another brick and you put it down on the ground. And pretty soon you start standing on the bricks and eliminating the bricks. And pretty soon you're standing on a foundation of bricks that you one by one put down and built up. And now you look out and go, there's no more bricks around me. I just bought a house. I just did that. And it's this beautiful experience that everyone wants to do for people. I'll take all the bricks down for them. I'm a savior. I'm a helper. I'll do it. I'll get him a job. I'll teach him how to work. I'll do this. Stop. It's not how it works.
You know, Art, when my Brendan overdosed and we found him and they had to work on him for 7.5 minutes to save his life. I remember going to him and saying, what the hell were you thinking? Or do you know that you almost just didn't make it? Doesn't your family matter to you? And his response was, no, Mom, I don't matter to myself.
Well, that's some victim shit.
That, but that just makes me think of what you're saying right now, is he himself at the time, he didn't even matter to his own self.
Yeah.
But I can tell you from that point forward, and knowing that Battlefield has a play in it, you guys.
So
you
let's
guys
coach
have-
that up real quick, Renee.
you
Why do you
guys-
say that?
Well, he was telling the truth, he didn't matter to himself.
No, why do you say that?
Oh, why do I say?
Why did he say that? Let's
Oh.
explore some other options.
I don't know, Art, he just woke up from.
I know, I understand. I understand, but this is the game. This is the game, and this is what.
Guys did your part to try to help Brennan get on that better path. Right now, he's 17 months clean. I've never been able to say that in my life. Whether that matters to him or it's gonna continue to matter, yeah, you know what, it matters to me. I'm seeing that he's starting to feel that he matters to himself. He's got a long road ahead of him.
Yeah.
But I remember that very day where he said he didn't feel he mattered to himself.
Yeah.
So he finally can say he feels he actually matters to himself, and that's a huge step from where we were. And you guys played a huge role in that.
If you, that's the thing, and for him, he might not know himself well enough to know why he says the things he says, but
I don't have that.
but one thing that he is doing is he's taking steps to matter, and that's the important part of this. Anyways,
But can you like finish this thing, cause you started to like, you wanna dissect more and stuff.
Oh, I apologize, I didn't.
no, go ahead,
No,
Daniel.
it's something you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
do
yeah.
too,
I,
because
it just made me.
Well,
is it me as a parent?
Oh, because-
That has to make it so Mason feels like it matters, or
Yeah.
does he need himself need to make it so he feels he matters?
Here's the deal. Is telling somebody they matter when they don't matter effective?
Well, no.
I mean, I don't think it is. That's the problem. And is telling somebody they matter when they know it's not truthful. See, when somebody says you matter, you know if you matter or not. Isn't that true? So if you're at a company and you don't feel like you matter and the boss comes down to you and he goes, I want you to know you really matter. You're sitting there going, no, I don't. No, I don't. What are you talking about? You know if you matter or not. So we can't be lied to. So my point is that you have to see these steps happening in somebody's life. That one, they have to acknowledge that that's what's necessary in recovery. Hopefully after tonight, people will say, I need this. That's what I need to do. I need to matter. But again, now you have a problem. What's the problem with people trying to matter what's the problem with the Tyler Winston trying to matter? What's the problem with Mason trying to matter? Guess what it is? Risky. It's risky trying to matter. You put yourself out there again. These kids are too cool to try to matter. I don't need to matter. I don't give a shit. I'll just do this. I don't need to try to get it. They don't want to risk it. So there's the rub. How do we figure out how to get people to risk it?
Spot on, what I mean, from our experience,
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
I don't wanna matter.
yeah,
I'm too cool to matter.
that's what it is.
You don't even get me, Dad.
Yeah,
Well, and we say that, but I think they know underneath it, we've been through this with.
Yeah,
some-
it's a shield, it's
Yeah, it
a
is.
defense mechanism.
but then again, and then we have, sedation. So coupled with them not wanting to risk mattering, we have humans that are sedated by their phone and social media. And so now imagine if we took the phones away, it would only take a few days before somebody sat there and the phones and the technology, and you take that away, someone would sit there for about 3 days and go, oh shit, I need to go matter. That's the first thing that would happen. But if you sit there and suck on that phone and that vape, well, you might not be worried about mattering. You might be sedated. And that's what we have. We have a group of people that are sedated and too cool to matter, and they don't want to risk it. And they don't know how to matter. Because they don't want to matter at Jimmy John's. They don't want to matter at the warehouse. They don't want to matter at Subway. They don't want to matter as a waiter. They don't want to matter, and they're not willing to risk it to go get something. And there's nothing cool enough for them to do that they're willing to risk it. And they'll use the excuse that it's not enough money. But that's an excuse. If it was cool, you would take that little amount of money. If you matter, you would take it. Otherwise, okay, you can matter another way. Go make lots of money and matter. Do that. Don't take the shitty job. But you gotta do one or the other. You gotta risk it somewhere. So everyone's, it's like, I call it like double dutch. It's like watching people play double dutch. The rope of lives are going around and they get in there, clunk it up, and they don't want to try again. And you gotta get in there in life and start making moves and start doing double dutch and start risking it. And they don't want to risk it. Because somebody's gonna tell them no, or somebody's gonna say, and they use the excuse that it's like, I got felonies or I got this stuff, but it's all bullshit. They'll talk their way into anything else. Okay. We should be,
Coaching, we still have some spots left, but group coaching, that's when we dive into this stuff. So tomorrow night, 6 o'clock for parents, like parents only. It is limited to a certain number, but we do have some spots left. So talk to me if you want to get in for tomorrow night.
all right, well, thank you guys.
Yeah, this is great. And we'll see you next week. Next week will be tonight. We have social group first Tuesday of the month, next week. Thanks, everybody. Good night, good night. We'll see you all next week. Good night, everybody at home.